Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started.
I love this. Let this get this party.
What's going on? We were off in a deep conversation and catching up from life, and I just wanted to say thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me again. I love being a repeat offender.
Yes, the fun-loving criminal you are. So,
yes.
It's really interesting because you've been doing some fascinating things, and why don't you share for those that haven't followed you recently, what the exciting news? You got some announcements coming up, Rock. So let's share some secret knowledge and pass it along.
I don't know how secret it is, but
not so secret.
Not so secret. So RaqVision, which I know all of you WandaVision fans out there are probably like, really, Raquel? Yes, really. You can blame it on Jason Leibowitz. He's the one that came up with that. So I don't even know last time we spoke. I think when we spoke, had I even done Rock the Boat yet? Or maybe
No, you had not. You had not started it.
I was like promoting, I think, my business because I had gone out on my own.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's been going on, but like you and I were talking about, it's putting in the work, showing up every day and really just working. So I feel like finally all the the seeds that I've planted, all the flowers are starting to bloom, and I'm starting to see, like I said, my fruits of my labor. But so Rock the Boat, I started a YouTube channel where I'm having just candid conversations with kids. And the reason why I started it was because with the pandemic, I felt like our kids were the ones that were really suffering. Obviously we adults as well, but I think we were losing sight of like how the kids were dealing with all of this, because you have the pressures of social media already.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you add a pandemic where they can't see their friends. They can't be social. They're being isolated. They don't really know how to deal with that. And so I thought, if we don't pay attention to our youth and we don't nurture them and really like listen to them, and we're going to be screwed, because I think a lot what was happening too was like with the Capitol and everything. And I was like, God, we're going to just raise a bunch of like wild wolves if we don't do something. Like it just hit me in this way where I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to start having conversations with kids and see where it goes. And I want it to be as just raw, kind of, just spontaneous, off the cuff, just organic conversation. I wanted to prove to people that it's really not that difficult to talk to anybody in our, 18 or under if you're older. So I would just press record, and I tell the kid, I said, listen, are you okay with me just hitting record and us talking? And they're like, sure. And these are kids that range like from 6 to 18. So I hit the record button and I just started having conversations, and I just realized that these kids, not only were they so willing to open up and so engaging and insightful and intelligent, but that they are all wanting to like give back and change the world and make an impact. And they're just really just like a lot of them so self-aware. So if anything, it really surprised me in a way where I was like, gosh, we have this narrative that we're doing around our kids that like, oh, they're all lazy, they're entitled, they don't want to do anything, they don't want to have to work for it. And the more I spoke with these kids, I realized like that's not really the case. There's plenty of kids out there that are like kicking butt. And not only that, I realized too, the commonalities that we had, like the generational gap is really not as wide as we think it is. Like when you start talking to these kids, they have the same emotions that we do. They still want to feel worthy. They want to feel like they deserve things. They want to feel seen, heard, all of the same things that we do. They have fears. And so if you go down, not necessarily to their level, but if you go to that level of like, hey, I can relate to you. I might be 45 years old, but I know what you're feeling. And I'm feeling that way even now as a 45-year-old woman. And so then you're like validating them. And so I could sense that these kids were walking away feeling really confident with themselves, because they felt like, wow, here's an adult that's listening to me. She's engaging with me. She cares what I have to say. And so I just continue to do it. I think I just recorded episode 39. So in 6 months, I've done 39 episodes, which is really cool. I've had kids all around the world. So then Jason Leibowitz, with XXO Connect and his platform that he started, he and I have been friends and we've been talking, and he's been wanting to create a kids network, have basically, a kids platform that is powered by XXO. And so he reached out to me finally just a couple weeks ago. I mean, this is not long ago. We work fast. He said, Raquel, you're the person that needs to do this. And I'm like, do what? He's like, you need to build out the kids network. He's like, with Rock the Boat and everything you're doing, he's like, you can take this thing to a whole different level. And he actually came up with RaqVision, and now it's a safe space. So it's a youth social network. So just like XXO Connect, you have to have a membership to be in it. And, you really feel like you're in a safe community. You can open up and really connect with other people in a way where you feel like it's okay. It's not like random social media where you hop on in and you got cyber bullies and people being mean. It's just a different mindset. And so it's the same for the kids. And I already have the most incredible people on board that are going to be facilitating these conversations with our kids. Like,
I saw your list.
Yeah. So we're going to have like masterclasses, if you will, for our youth. And not only that, I'm going to create like a book club and an art club and a music club and a writing club. And then the Rock the Boat episodes can be on that platform as well. So I want it to be a place to where these kids hang out and they walk away feeling empowered, inspired. They feel motivated. They feel they're educated as well. Like, I want it to be like all positive, but I also want at the same time, like the tagline is rock the realness. I want us to be able to have like real conversations in there. So we're going to talk about everything from LGBTQ community, from racism, from diversity, sexual assault, sexual harassment, because these are things that kids are actually dealing with. Like, I think we have to stop ignoring and trying to protect our kids so much that we ignore that they have access to everything on the internet. So they're already learning everything. And if we don't step in as at least like responsible adults and be like, hey, we know what you're listening to, we know what you're watching, but let's have like a constructive conversation around it, as opposed to you just like following people on TikTok and educating yourself. You're like TikTok influencers and just kind of like assuming that somebody's a certain way because you see them like that. Instead, like, let's say, for instance, with LGBTQ community, I would love to have someone that is, for instance, non-binary or transgender and facilitate a conversation and educate and explain, and then have the kids be able to ask questions, but questions in a way where they're not being judged for it. Because let's be honest, a lot of us are still very uneducated in many ways. And a lot of us are scared to ask the questions because they think we're going to be judged for it. And so I want these kids to feel like they can have those conversations there, or even, towards racism and have those conversations on there as well. And just feel like, okay, wow, like I have peers that feel the same way, or I have peers that have a different perspective and they're kind of showing me a different way to look at things, or I'm actually talking to someone that's transgender and maybe I was stereotyping them, or maybe I was assuming that they were a certain way, and now I'm seeing that that's not the case. Like, I really just want to open up these kids' minds.
Well, and I think it's important for us to understand that.
Sorry, I was just like starting to see people hop in. So I was like,
we got some people in the room. Let's shout it out. Kathy Spooner. And hey, everyone in the room right now, we're going to give away.
Yes.
We're going to give away like 3 months worth of XXO to a winner. I got a system here that I can actually do a giveaway now.
Oh,
I'm going to give away. I'm going to bring people in, and I'm going to have them donate some stuff to the Pirate Nation. So pirates, stay tuned, stay on, and stay connected. And you need to type in the hashtag Pirate Nation, and we'll give away some things, and you can connect with Raquel and do some great stuff together. So Kathy's here. Good morning, Pirates. Russ Hedge. Good morning, Russ and Raquel. Tracy, love my producer here. Thank you so much.
That's right, Tracy. Okay, I recognize
Tracy,
that.
yeah. You've seen her.
I've seen her.
Raquel, you're doing awesome things. Yes.
Russ. Well, Russ introduced me to an awesome young lady who's going to be a part of the platform too. So Ashley Lynn, for instance, he made an introduction. She's a senior in high school out in, I think I want to say Oregon. She's she got into University of Pennsylvania, but she's taking a year off because she just wrote a book called The Youth Organizer. And she's all about digital community building. And she's created her own little nonprofit, and I don't want to say little. It'll be big. Sorry, Ashley, I didn't mean to diminish what you're doing. But so she started a nonprofit, and here she's publishing her book, I think in August, it's coming out. And so she was on Rock the Boat. And then I said, you know what, Ashley, I would love to have you be a part of RaqVision and facilitate calls because, I'm getting like the age group of 18 to 23 to 24 to also facilitate these conversations. Cause I think that's where the kids are going to obviously relate to someone that's not that much older than them. Yeah. And she's on board. So she's going to be doing an online digital community building series. And so thank you, Russ. So that's how I'm meeting a lot of these people is just people will be like, hey, talk to this person, talk to that person. So any of you listening, think that maybe yourself or you know somebody that would be great to be on this platform and to help our youth, please reach out to me because the more the merrier.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing, I want to go back to what you were talking about earlier because, talking to kids is a fascinating subject. And also I've had some experience with this and what was your most eye-opening conversation that you had? What was something that really kind of struck a chord that you didn't realize or you hadn't thought about or you hadn't considered previously?
That's a really good question. And I know I've had some of those, but of course, now I have a brain fart. So thanks.
Well, we'll figure that out. So I just wanted to, Marsha, Monday Morning Magic. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Marsha.
And Kathy says, great point about the pandemic and the last crazy year for kids because they rely on adults in the sense of safety and stability, which got turned upside down and created instability for them. Absolutely.
Yeah. You know so something that I did that I really do appreciate, and it just once again goes back to the whole thing where people say children are really resilient. They really are. It's incredible because I was talking to some of these kids in the height of COVID and they still were just so happy and still being kids and still figuring out ways to, entertain themselves. And they didn't really let it get them in the sense where even on Saturday, I had a conversation with a 6-year-old in Mumbai, India. This kid, and he discovered drawing because they are serious lockdown there. You can't even just walk out and walk down the street. And yet he still was so happy. His energy was just amazing. I could feel his energy and his mother was so sweet and they were just so appreciative that I was talking to them and so grateful. And he just he was focusing on drawing and watching his movies. It's just amazing just that they don't let certain things get to them like we do. They don't complicate things like we tend to do as we get older. I think that's something that I also kind of was very eye-opening for me, where a lot of these kids are very, very creative, so creative. And a lot of the boys love to draw and love art. And so there's something along the way, there's something that happens as they get older that all of that is basically isn't nourished. So it's either forgotten or no one's really encouraging them to continue that. There's that path where they're that's not going to make me money. That's not going to bring me success. That's not going to do anything for me. So now let me go down to the IT path or the accounting path. And so that's something that I really noticed. I'm where's all this creativity? Where does it go that it disappears at some point? What are we doing that we're not actually focusing more on it and we're getting rid of it?
It gets stuffed into the back room next to the, back on the storage shelf back there because it's not the roadmap that society has imposed that it's successful in a lot of respects, but creativity is really a piece of the fabric of, the life we live. And it's so important for kids to be able to be creative, and also adults to be creative. We're doing something creative right now. I feel, and just like, rock the boat, or XXO, or whatever it happens to be. It has a place in our society. It has a place that has to take place. And the challenge, though, and I want you to speak on this from the kids' perspective, is that social media only gives us a slice of the best things in life. So just like learning how to play the piano or learning how to play an instrument, the first notes are terrible. We don't know what we don't know, so we don't know what to do next. And then we see all these people that have done it for years, and the accumulation of years of experience and practice and everything else. And then we measure ourselves against that, and we all feel like failures at some level. So what kind of impact has that had on the kids from that perspective?
Well, that's something so now that I'm listening to you, I'm like, okay, that's another one that was like an eye opener for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many of these kids do not even want to be on social media? There's some kids there. There was a 13-year-old Sierra. Her mom and I were sorority sisters. She just got a phone for the first time. So she's never even been on social media, Instagram, all of that stuff, because she understands how toxic it is. So there's a lot of kids that are very aware of the toxicity that comes behind social media, because they know that they're filtered. They know that it's all the pretty stuff. And that's conversations that I've had. On Saturday, I had a conversation with a senior in high school, and she's like, I basically see right through that. It's the highlight reel. We all talk about that, but for a senior in high school to totally understand that and be like, that's why I stay away from it, because I know it's not real. And I know people aren't showing the other side, the side where they're having a bad day or they don't look the greatest. She's like, they're not choosing to show that. And so that's what's really surprised me too. I really feel like we underestimate these kids. And that's where I feel like we're doing them a disservice. And that's why for me, it's so important to have these shows and to, to showcase them and to do this network, because I really feel that we need to just listen better and just really put them out, because even a lot of those kids say that too. They're like, adults could really learn from us. There's a 12-year-old, 11-year-old astronomer. Lizzie.
That is so true. That is so true. It's the adults that tend to derail them with their own insecurities.
Yes.
Their own insecurities.
The parents kind of then it's like the parents' past trauma or their insecurities. So then they kind of put that on their kids, and it's just like this cycle, right?
Yeah.
That happens.
I want to remind everybody that you need to type in Pirate Nation, because we're going to be giving away.
Hey, D-Roo.
We're going to be giving away this some subscription to.
Yes. So you'll get. We're going to do a 3-month free membership over on XXO Connect, which with that membership, if you have 10 kids, they all are going to be free under that membership. Whether you have 1 or 10 kids, all kids are free under the XXO membership. So that's where. So when I say create a safe space, we truly want to create a safe space, meaning that an adult has to do parental consent or guardian consent. And that way too, I can basically monitor who's on RaqVision. So if there's a kid that comes in, it's not being so nice and maybe, doing the cyberbullying or not being a good person on that platform, I can go back to whoever signed for that kid and be like, hey, mom or dad, unless your child behaves, we can't have them on this platform, because it really is about having a safe space. And so that's why we have it set up that way. It's not like a TikTok or an Instagram where anybody can just jump.
It's a protected, safe space.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent and you want to, or you're someone that knows parents that have kids that need to have an outlet for conversation, learning about some positive impact, stuff like that. That's where
we're gonna have I have Michael Ray, which most of you guys out there.
Yeah, Michael Ray's on here all the time.
So Michael Ray is going to be part of the platform. So what he's doing, he's has a kindness club. So it's going to be Cool to Be Kind club, and it's going to be focused on acts of kindness and being kind. And so we'll do
kindness is cool, right?
Yes, it is super cool. So we're going to do that. And so every week he'll facilitate like a call, and maybe we'll do like friendly competitions where whoever had the most random acts of kindness that week will give them something, or we'll do something special. Right. But like, those are the type of groups I want to have as well. So I want to have everything on there. Like, I don't think I want it to be all inclusive. I really want it to be a place where like kids want to hang out. And so what's cool is XXO Connect is that, but for adults. Yeah. So on XXO Connect, you have a bunch of masterclasses. You have some amazing people on that platform as well that are facilitating really cool group conversations. I'll hop on every now and then, and we have some fun conversations because we go into talking about like relationships and dating, and he's gonna have a singles community on XXO Connect, which is great too, because I think that even the dating apps, I want to have nothing to do with the dating apps, but I would like to meet other singles, but in a place where it's not all about the selfies and the swipe to the right or the left. So he's creating this community, which is just about getting to know the people, and then whatever you want to do with that, you can take it somewhere else. But as far as getting to know other singles, like I would want to do it on the XXO platform. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny. Love you.
She's great. So like we have a couple, Ryan and Danielle, who are on the XXO Connect. I'm also hijacking some folks and bringing them over onto RaqVision because it makes sense. So they're the younger couple. Ryan is great because he's like a guy that I think a lot of the young kids would be like, oh man, he's so cool. And he's like, good looking guy, goes to the gym, like, like a guy's guy. But at the same time, he's super vulnerable, very transparent, like loves Danielle and the way they talk about their relationship and the way he talks about women and the way he respects her. Like I want to create those type of conversations for our kids too, because they're dating at a young age. Like these are 12, 13 year, they already have boyfriends, girlfriends. And so we want to create healthy relationships.
Yeah.
But it's like to have a healthy, relationship with a guy.
I think it's really important to actually talk about that because, you have to set the example somewhere and have to define what a healthy relationship actually looks like. And I think right now there's a lot of division in opinions in having such a strong opinion that everybody's wrong.
Yeah.
Or, I'm right and you're wrong. And it's not really that way. It's we have a difference, a different way of seeing things that I think we all need to learn how to understand to listen. So
yes.
And it's about engagement too. It's about how we can engage and involve other people so we can see that diversity in opinions and diversity in views and perspectives and seeing how things are going, because that's what the Pirate Broadcast is about, bringing interesting people together to have this conversation and learn a little bit more about it and understand that things are not always as we see them.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that we need to learn how to be a little more patient, a little empathy, a little little consideration there, because kindness is cool.
Yeah, and like you said, the reality is life it can be really hard, right? And that not everything comes easily, and that you really do have to work for things. Like you really do. Like, and that's where I want to have those. I want the kids on the platform. Yes, I want to inspire them and empower them and make them, have them follow their dreams. But at the same time, I want to have those conversations of like, hey, you can do whatever and be whatever you want, but like it's going to take work because you might not naturally, be destined to be a doctor.
Right.
And that's okay. But like, you have to understand that just because you want to be a doctor doesn't mean you might end up being one. And if you don't, like, hey, there's other things that, maybe you're really good at, and it doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't, like all of those things of like, hey, like I'm 45 years old and I'm just now feeling like I'm starting to kind of like come into who I am, and here someone might look at a 45-year-old woman and think like, wait, you're still trying to figure life out and you're still, making mistakes and you're still have all these bumps in the road. And Yes, because that's what it's like. Because once again, social media, they see a lot of these people show the success and they think it's A to Z overnight. They think that they're supposed to be entrepreneurs and millionaires by 25. So then when they're not, then they start doubting themselves and they start thinking, what's wrong with me? And oh my gosh, I'm a loser. And it's like, no. It's like, that's why I want to bring back those conversations too, because, I think that we're doing our kids a disservice in that respect as well, making them think that things just are going to happen for you.
Well, and I think it's a fantastic platform, and I love what you're doing. And I just wanted to express appreciation for putting this out there and building this thing. And I just want everybody in the pirate community to realize this. So type in Pirate Nation, and I'm gonna run a little program here at the end, and we're going to give away 3 months of membership to XXO and all of the things that you're doing, and get engaged, get involved, be supportive of things that are taking place around us, because it's really, I think, critical right now that we understand what is going on. And just like Amber says, kids have to be carefully taught to be insecure, or to second guess themselves. They're naturally invincible.
Yeah.
They don't have any fear. They don't risk creativity for judgment. And, that's learned behavior. It's a behavior that's learned over time and squashed, like we said, in the back room, in the corner, in the, and it's like, let's start to cultivate that and start to put it out there a little bit more, and allow kids and the youth to be a little more creative, because we're going to need it. It's just a place that is really important for us to put out there.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many of these kids really do want to interact with adults and have those conversations. It's once again, we think because of technology and social media and their phones that they really don't care. They don't want to talk to us. It's like, no, they do. It's just, we rarely give them the space to do it, or we rarely sit there and actually want to listen to what they have to say. And I think that's what I try to do with these conversations is show that, hey, I don't know this kid. I just press record and we have this beautiful 45 minute conversation about so many different things. And it's just because I gave them the space and the time to do it. And I was listening. And so I want adults to be a little bit better about that. And I think too, a lot of these parents are realizing like, okay, you know what, maybe I should take the time to just like sit there and ask questions and see what happens and where it goes.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I really loved, is that these parents are seeing their kids talk to an adult maybe for the first time, or like a stranger. Because if you think about it, we don't really are following our kids around, seeing how they interact with adults or people out in the real world. And especially with the pandemic, these kids are isolated. So they're only interacting with their parents or just the teachers online. So for their parents to get to see their child have a respectful conversation, because every child, every kid, every person that I've spoken to has been extremely respectful, extremely engaging. None of the kids have been rude. Like, it's funny how many parents warn me, oh, my child has ADHD, like ADD, good luck having them talk to you. They always talk to me. Or my child's really shy, really introverted, good luck getting them to talk to you. Perfectly fine. So what's happening too is that they're really surprising their parents in the best way possible. So then their parents are like immensely proud of their kids. I have parents that message me like, I'm crying right now. Like, oh my gosh, this is making me cry because the kids are saying these beautiful things about their parents or their siblings and things that they don't get to hear. And so I'm giving that gift to the parents. And so what's happening is they're looking at their kid in a different light, which I'm hoping that changes their relationship for the better, right? Because then if they see their kid, wow, they're doing good. Like here, I thought I was like messing up or I was failing as a parent, but no, I'm actually doing really good as a parent, because look at how my child interacted with this stranger essentially. And so that's something that I didn't even think about when I started Rock the Boat either, like how it was going to affect the parents.
So if someone happened to catch this episode and watch this episode, what would you want them to take away, or what's the one thing that you would like to share on this episode? before we wrap up today?
Just to take notice of our youth, and whatever you can do to contribute. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you have to be on a RaqVision platform, but just how you show up every day in the world. And if there's a kid or someone, you know, that maybe it's your child or a niece or a nephew or a friend's kid or just anything, like, just be a little bit more aware of how you're speaking to that kid, how you're engaging with them, because they're so impressionable, and it's amazing how just giving them a little bit of attention and listening to them, like what it does for their confidence too, and then what they do with that confidence and how they show up to the world. Because remember, it's all a domino effect, right? So if we're treating these kids in a way where they feel like, oh my gosh, look at how I'm being treated, I'm going to go ahead and do that, then that's how we're going to change the world. Like, for instance, with these kids that are 18 to 24 and want to be on my platform as facilitators, because they want to give back to these kids, because they already feel like, you know what, I want to go ahead and empower them. Like, that's like what's so beautiful about this, is just having just a little bit more self-awareness of like what you're doing and just how you're showing up on social media too, because these kids are consuming, like, what are you putting out there? What are they consuming? Yeah, I just want people to just be aware a little bit more. We're a little too self-absorbed at times. I'm gonna say,
get out of your ego and go help someone.
Yeah, like let's remember, these are our kids, our kids. Like, just because we're not going to be around for that long doesn't mean like we can't still want to take care of the next generations.
So I want to remind everybody, I'm going to give or I'm not going to give anything away. Raquel is going to give something
I'm not really
away.
good. Jason Leibowitz. Jason, let him know, hey Jason, this is what I do. He's gonna be fine.
And here's the other thing, because I know we got to wrap up and life is busy. However, I just want to remind everybody, type in #Pirate Nation, and we're going to give this away, and we're going to continue to give things away this on the Pirate broadcast. So jump in, share this information. If you found the Pirate broadcast interesting, you know, this is the reason we do this, is because, you know, there's a lot of things that we haven't considered out there. And I just want to make sure that people like Raquel have, you know, a voice and opportunity to share this information and reach an audience that they may not necessarily be able to reach every day. So thanks for being here, Raquel. So
thank you for having me. I always love seeing your face. Like, you're one of those people that your energy and just your face, like, it's hard not to like light up inside. So thank you. So you've made my Monday.
Oh, thank you, Somi. It says, I hate to say it, but it reminds me of the Native American way. Not sure if it's good or bad thing, but for me, it's a good thing.
What do you mean? Okay. Like, what does he mean? I like, can you like elaborate?
The kindness and the ability to actually communicate without judgment, without measure.
Gotcha. Okay.
And really become part of a community, because there's a lot of different cultures that are much more inclusive of what the perspective is for all. So okay, I'm going to try this. This is going to be a
wheel or something.
What's that?
You have like a wheel that you spin, or what do you do?
I'll show you what I got here. Let me share it with you. So anybody that's typed in Pirate Nation, I'm going to start collecting comments. So it's a tool. So let me see. I got to try this. Draw. Okay.
But you have 0 entries. Does that mean you don't have anybody to draw from?
Well, this is a new tool that I'm working on, because Marcia, but it's not. It's I have to figure out why it's not working though.
Huh.
All right. Start collecting comments. I wonder if I didn't, because I know Deru typed in.
Yeah, there were several people that did it. Kathy did it. Hyatt did it.
So we're gonna have to.
Russ, Kenyatta.
I'll have to figure this out now.
Oh.
Back. Okay. Start collecting. All right.
Jimmy Jam did it.
Yeah. Pirate Nation. Why is it not? I tried it earlier and it worked.
By the way, the 17-year-olds are awake. I can hear them downstairs because, I told you
really?
I have 4 teenage 17-year-olds in my home right now. Watch, I can sense that I'm going to go down there and my daughter's going to be like, Mom, can you get us Dunkin' Donuts? I feel it.
Well, we will pick someone. And
I was going to say, I definitely would love to pick someone that will be able to take advantage of both the XXO platform and then their kids on the kids vision, RaqVision. We're going to go get our cars missed. Okay. See, my daughter's already, I love how she's seeing me from downstairs.
Well, thank you so much, Raquel, for joining us and sharing what you're doing.
Thank you, everyone who hopped in. I love you all.
Thank you so much. And we'll find a way to get a prize out to someone.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So Thank you, everyone. As always, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. So you enjoy the day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Where's my countdown? Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.